After leaving Selma the night before, I had traveled much farther than expected before catching a few hours' sleep in the truck near my morning target of Payne Lake, Alabama. For the first time, unloading here didn't feel rushed. I wasn't hurried to get everything in order, so I stretched out my damp clothes and hit the water. I had a good feeling the surge of driving halfway across Alabama during the previous day would pay off in fish.
I scraped together $3 and change out of the door of my truck from the transactions I've made. I'm getting ready to pay my way. Hope they like this one. Hungry? Why wait?
It's the morning of day 5, Cinco de Mayo, arriba!
It's not much, but first bass of the trip. First cast up into this cove. Sign of good things. Good things to come. And on one of my favorite Rapalas too, right on surface. Doesn't get much better than that. That's a little more like what I'm after. A little better. About 13, 14-inch fish. I don't know what the regs are on these here because the Walmart didn't have a reg book, but that's borderline keeper.
At the north end of the lake, a beaver lodge and dam sat quietly amongst a field of lily pads. As I glided up the channel, the weather broke for the first time, and a glimpse of sunlight bounced off the tangled twigs and lily blossoms.
Back at the pavilion by the truck on the south end of the lake. 3 reasons really. 1, I saw somebody official looking on the other side that I wanted to ask about the size limits, and so I did, and she said basically they go by state regs, and when I told her that they didn't have any state reg books where I bought my license last night, she didn't know exactly what the limits were, but she said that you won't catch anything sizable in this lake, and we're fixing to drain it and restock it, so whatever you keep, I really don't care. So any of those fish that I caught earlier today I could have kept and eaten, which is kind of a bummer, but I think that I have a good chance to probably catch some more. I know that I can keep them now, so that's good. Reason number 2 is the lure that I used to catch those, that little Rapala that I showed you earlier. Shortly after that last bass, I casted it into a tree and was unable to get it down, and switched over to a Pop R that kind of looked like it, but no dice. They don't seem to like that one. So I'm kind of seeing if I can hatch a plan to maybe get that lure out of that tree. I got rope, I got a hatchet, but might have to wait until the officials move out. I don't know if it'll come to that. I sure feel like it should though. 3 is it was raining a little bit. Came back in, saw a couple nice ladies over here, asked them the forecast, and they said it's 40% chance thunder showers today. So basically I'm expecting it to be like this all day. Kind of recuperate, gather my senses back up, and formulate a plan. Head back out there and catch some keeper fish, get my money out of that $26 I spent. I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that I'm not spending any money on food, but I'm spending all this money on fishing licenses so that I can eat fish and therefore save money. I know that seems kind of oxymoronic, but well, we all have to make sacrifices for what we're passionate about, I guess. It's the only way I can describe that, and so I've been sacrificing my living so that I can fish these different places. And this has been a really cool spot so far. I mean, got to see a beaver dam. The weather's kind of broke. It's a pretty neat place. And I caught some bass, so you know, you can't beat that, especially after having been skunked for the last 4 days. Basically skunked. So, enough of this. I'm going to get my stuff together and get back out there and try to catch some lunch. Over and out. Well, y'all might have a hard time believing it, because I have a hard time believing it myself. But I tied these pliers up to this rope here and used it to fling up into the branch of the tree where I caught that lure up earlier. Blam! Snagged it with the rope! How sweet is that? The lengths one will go to when you only have one bait. I have a feeling this puppy's gonna be with me for the whole trip now. Yes. Oh yeah. Creole bass and avocado. One way you look at it, this meal cost me about $1.25. Another way you look at it, include the fishing license, this meal cost me $27.25. I like the first one.
They always give you this kind of a spigot, or some kind of a spigot you can't work with one hand and do something with two. So you gotta get ingenious with it sometimes.
In the town of Moundville, I stopped to see the mounds. The fee station had closed, either for the day or permanently, I couldn't tell, so I just drove in.
Kind of makes me want to sacrifice something.
From the back of the mound site was a great view of a tight bend in the Black Warrior River. I could only imagine what this civilization must have been like. I wonder if they fried their catfish too. I followed the Black Warrior on into Tuscaloosa, home of the University of Alabama. I wanted to see the campus, and the first street that caught my eye was Paul Bryant Drive, which led me directly to the stadium in the heart of Crimson Tide country.
It's the end of day 5, and I found myself a great camp spot right here about 150 yards from Bryant-Denny Stadium. Gonna stay right here in Tuscaloosa, a little bit of urban guerrilla style camping. Sometimes it's easier to find campsites in cities than it is to find them in the woods, especially when you're near a drinking district and there's a lot of drunks that leave their cars. So, I'm gonna be up early tomorrow. Talked to a guy at Academy Outdoors where I went and picked up an Alabama reg book, and he told me about a spot just outside of town that I need to go instead of Tuscaloosa Lake. It sounds pretty sweet. He seemed like a pretty solid guy, so gotta get up early, get on it, jump on it, hoss. Later.